Hello, guys, and welcome to another episode of Coco in the Sun podcast. Um, Today I believe we're gonna do chapter 13. Let me check. You know, I don't know. I have a thing with thinking like I just want the podcast to flow. I don't want to overplan it, and it's like too like I want to say generic or um not organized, but like segmented. Like I try to just go with what comes while I'm here, plus do like the chapter I'm going to read. So maybe we should recap what the first 12 chapters did. So we kind of a little over midway, so we kind of remember. I'm going to try to see if I remember what we have learned so far in this book. That you choose to either discern if it's truth or not, or to just read it as a story. If it's enjoyable either way. If you read it as like a make-believe story, the story is pretty good, right? And if you choose to say, well, there's some truths here, some cool truths, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, I think either way is cool and interesting, enjoyable, and adds to life. The spice of life. The spice of life. Okay, so in the preface, the first thing we learn in the preface is that it is through clear intention, through acting as if, and then simply receiving continuously that you kind of create the life that you want, right? Um, I like this book because I think it gives really simple way of creating the life or the reality that you want. I don't know if it actually works. I want to put it into action to see if it works. But if it does work, it's a really kind of like a simple way to understand. I like that. Um, I think we tend to overcomplicate things as humans. You know what I mean? Anyway, so we reviewing the last 12 chapters before we move on to chapter 13. So in chapter 1, we learned like what happened with Earth, what it was meant to be. I believe like a library, like a cosmic library, where a lot of information is held, and that humans are literally the key to unlocking this information. We learned that I believe in this chapter, we were supposed to have 12 helixes of DNA, but some creator gods came in because this is a free will zone and decided that they wanted to basically use us as our emotions as food. And the way to manipulate that is through blocking frequencies. They can block frequencies by altering our DNA. So now we have like 2 helixes instead of 12. But that the Earth is about to shift dimensions, and humans are about to evolve. This is a really exciting time to be here to assist in the evolution of the humans back to turning on or awakening these 12 helixes so that they connect with our 12 chakras. I think I've gone past chapter 1. I don't know if I want to limit myself to what each chapter is saying, but just to the book saying. Essentially, we are people, if you read this book and believe it, you're a renegade of light. Light is information, love is creation, light and love are needed together in order for, I think, it to be like a really balanced state. However, they mention darkness is just ignorance. They don't want to limit things into good and evil. That prime creator is both aspects of life. But that darkness has been here for quite a while, and it's time to see what I think the earth can be in light and love, right? We've learned a lot about what it is with darkness. we have enough information. We have, I believe, 300,000 years of information of how we evolve in darkness with lack of information or ignorance, essentially. And they want to see it be what it should have been, right? A lot of galactic races contributed to the creation of the earth and to humans' existence. The location was selected because of the portals and could get here. I guess the information that it can hold, you know, here. And has a lot of potential to be a pretty good space. So essentially, the Pleiadians are the ones speaking through the channel of who is Barbara Marcinia, considered the author of the book. But she's channeling a message from the Pleiadians. They're trying to tell us a story in a way that we can understand, based in the time that we're in, so as not to overwhelm us with the information or scare us off. To the potentials that we are and can create for the future. They also talk about time not being linear, but I got a little confused there myself. Let's get the book and read it. So yeah, so they just basically want us to basically intention ourselves and to receive this light that they're sending to the planet, that Prime Creator is sending to the planet, so that our light encoded in our cells and our DNA can start to connect and get organized, so we can start to remember for ourselves our history and connect with our 12 chakras, because apparently we have 7 in the body and 5 outside of the body, some of those being connection to Earth, to the solar system, to the galaxy, and to the universe, which is kind of cool. So I think the more connected we become, this information is filtered in an integrated way, not to overwhelm us, so that we can receive this information and better know how to live our lives to maximum ability of us being our true selves. Our job essentially is to just be an inspiration. We do that by being ourselves and being our true frequency, our own soul song, which would mean just focusing on what we like to do, what brings us joy, and not being limited by these rules or frequency or ways of thinking that has been implemented over these hundreds of thousands of years, that keeps us bound, doesn't let us think freely or limitless, right? And that we are able to, by our intentions, create the life that we want, bring it in, and do so in a way that's effortless. I really like that aspect, the effortlessness of it. I've been feeling like that before I even read it in a book. So it was kind of good to be confirmed in a book, because it was what I was naturally feeling like. I know how it feels to actually do something I want to do because I want to do it. It doesn't feel like I'm pushing and forcing. It just feels like I'm enjoying this, but it's still action, right? And it flows easily and smoothly. And I know I like that. And I want a way to figure out how to effortlessly do things in a way and still like provide for myself and the quality of life that I want doing so. That's where I'm at, how to effortlessly do that. And so that's my own journey right now. Yeah, that's the stage I'm at. I guess once I figured out that stage, there will be other stages that appear. Specific to, I think that everybody's journey is different and specific to themselves. So, and they kind of stress that, you know, you need to go inside and see what your own guidance is telling you, like, because we all don't want the same experience. So they kind of stress that. that, you should even, the stuff that they're saying, you should even decide for yourself if that's something that you believe or you don't believe, right? Like, you can't save anybody, and you're not supposed to do that. You're really supposed to focus on yourself and your growth. And in doing so, that's how other people grow too, by seeing you or experiencing you in your joy, in your light, right? In your love. So I think that covers most of it. I didn't do it chapter by chapter. I didn't do the breakdown chapter by chapter. But that's essentially where we're at. And so we are going to continue, sorry, at chapter 13. Probably need to put on my glasses again. Let me see how big the chapter is. I do enjoy reading this, I cannot tell a lie. Like, I really do enjoy doing this. I'm not able to. I do miss it. The other day I wasn't feeling like 100%. I want to say I wasn't sick because I didn't feel like I was achy everywhere, but it was like a denseness that I needed to move through, and I literally couldn't do anything. Like, just needed to be still, and to process. And so, but I did miss it. But enjoy the time of being still as well. All of it. All right. So let's see what we're going to learn today. Okay, chapter 13. Whose purpose are you? Wow. We said that you exist for a purpose. Whose purpose? Did you ever think of that one? Whose purpose are you? I want to face you on, I feel like, you have purpose because all aspects of consciousness are connected to one another. None exists outside the system. They are all parts of the whole. That is the purpose we want you to seek. The essence of the vehicle you occupy and the energy you generate are part of a developmental sequence that you can say has a purpose for your personal search in life. But what purpose do you add to the whole? Can you conceive of someone else's using your purpose and growing from it? An energy that you do not know exists? The universe is interlocked in such a way that it is based on the domino system. All aspects of consciousness have gathered in this universe to affect each other because that's the only way consciousness in this particular system can experience life. Can experience itself. In another system or another universal structure, each and every type of consciousness may be completely free. In other words, you could be on your own and serve no purpose to anyone else. That is not true in this universe. There are many different universes and themes, just like 100 pennies make a dollar. Certain collections of universes make something that is a collection of energies. Eventually, you will begin to fathom and recognize that there are whole systems of existence that have nothing to do with existence as you are working with it. This system is designed as a free will zone within which everything is interlocking and interworking with everything else. There are other kinds of zones which perhaps you could also call free will zones, where everything is independent of everything else. Here on Earth, everything is interlocked with everything else. There is much more space in a system in which everything is independent. Or let us say there's much more awareness of space, not necessarily space. That kind of universe could, in actuality, be much smaller than this universe, but because it is not operating out of density, the awareness of space could be greater. Your purpose is to carry information, and by carrying it, to make the information accessible to others by frequency. When we share a story with you, you end up carrying information. Information is light, light is information. The more you become informed, the more you alter your frequency. You are electromagnetic creatures. And everything that you are, you broadcast to everyone else. That makes like a lot of sense. Because I think like if you're in a good mood, it'll affect everybody. If you're in a bad mood, it affects others as well. And I had this conversation the other day, although I didn't feel like they're because they were talking. Anyway, let's forget about that. Just as you can recognize someone in fear, you can recognize someone in joy if you begin to learn how to use your body to tune into this kind of recognition. Your assignment is to carry information and to evolve yourself to the highest capability within the human form. When you do this, you cannot help but affect multitudes. You may feel that your particular occupation is not on a grand scale. Say, for instance, you are a waitress. Remember, things are not what they appear to be on the outside, and everyone you come in contact with is affected by your vibration. Some of you may be left in very menial or mundane jobs for a while, or you may be led simply to be parents and guardians of your children, or you may do work that you feel is not exactly on the road to high glory. Yet, you will have a certain time period in which you must assimilate all of this information that is indeed radical. You must fit it into your life, and you must fit it into the history of your world by living it, perceiving it, and getting used to it. Once you can consistently maintain a frequency of information and not be riding the roller coaster of emotions up and down because you don't know who you are, you will be given a task. Oh, that's when the task comes. Good to know. Let me read that again. I have to highlight that because I was wondering, when does the task come? When you can consistently maintain a frequency of information and not be riding the roller coaster of emotions up and down because you don't know who you are, you will be given a task. It will be put before you and it will be part of your blueprint. Your blueprint is your own personal detailed plan, outline of action for this lifetime. Okay. So it's only revealed when you're able to master your emotions. I guess I haven't mastered my emotions yet. We hold out hope for soon. Okay. Many of you already know your blueprint and what you will be guided to. Each of you knows your plan in the deepest portion of your being. What gets in the way of your knowing is logically thinking that you don't have the talent for your plan or that you can't do it. I've had that inkling of something it wants me, like I'm supposed to do. Like my soul sings thinking about it. But I'm like, yo, I don't really know how to do that. But you know what? If it's to happen, opportunities will occur and will come my way to allow what I think it is to occur. So let's see. If you go into a meditative state, you will receive a picture of your identity and reality and the next step of your assignment day by day. Oh, I don't know if I know how to do it. Like I just like to look at the sentence and I have to focus on getting into a meditative state. But it makes sense, right? Meditation is a state of communication. It is not a way to go somewhere and get lost. Meditation is a state of communicate. Meditation is a way to get informed and to go to a place that nourishes you. You will move into your purpose, and more than likely, it will have to do with facilitating the frequency, transducing it, stepping it down to others, explaining it, using it to heal others, and stabilizing it for the human race. When each of you can hold a frequency of information without freaking out and can be counted upon to be consistent, then you anchor the frequency on the planet. That frequency is recognized. It cannot be traced exactly, but it can be recognized, and it is being recognized now. That is why there has been a frenzied step up to alter that frequency. You will see more frequency control everywhere you look. Only now you'll be able to recognize it for what it is. You will find that all the things in your life have prepared you step by step for what you will be doing. I think so. At one time, perhaps you were a Boy Scout leader and learned how to work with young boys. Maybe at another time you worked in a restaurant and learned how to work with food and to serve. Through your jobs, you create certain aspects of reality so that later on, when you must teach these systems how to go beyond themselves, you have an idea where these humans are coming from. We speak to you as if you are not human because to us, you are not. To us, you are members of the family of light, and we know your multidimensional selves. We speak to you about dealing with humans because it is your assignment to integrate with them, soothe them, and awaken a spark of light within them so that they are not all destroyed, and so that this place can house a new species and a new realm of activity. We have talked many times about the evolving DNA and the frequency modulation that has kept the species and the experiment controllable and manageable. You have been hired and are on assignment from the future to catapult back into this cycle of existence, to incarnate many times so that you can understand what has kept humans controlled. In this way, you can operate from the inside and change the system. When you are in a battle with your logical mind, you are experiencing a conflict between the portion of yourself that is human, which has bought the story, and a portion of yourself that is family of light, which has not bought the story and is learning about the bigger picture. Begin to realize that the portion of yourself that operates out of logic is teaching you something. It is giving you first-hand experience of how most of the population operates and first-hand knowledge of what you're going to have to work around to reach others. If it were quite easy for you to move into intuition and operate there completely out of trust, and if you did not have this duality of understanding with the logical mind, in the long run, you would become very impatient with the rest of humanity. If it were easy for you, how could you possibly understand how difficult it is for others? That's true. You know, another question on this other day, I was like, why is it so damn hard to like create the reality you want? It's just thoughts. Like, why do I have to move through so many fears? Fears that I don't want to have, but I do have. Like, I can't front. Like, I can't pretend they don't exist because they do exist. That's why the reality I want hasn't manifested as quickly as I would like it. And then you have to face it, right? You have to really look at it. So you have to really look at it. Like, oh my God, this is so hard. Why can't I just believe this? And I was like, why do they make it so hard? If they want this, like, just give me the ability to do it. Like, so this is why. I mean, they can just give everybody the ability to do this, right? So it's not hard for anybody. Like, why does it have to be hard for anybody? Anyways, humans have been controlled by frequency for a long time. They are so used to this frequency control, and the logical mind has been so overly developed in recent times that there's much suspicion and fear. A dark place of self that is so controlled that people are frightened to even go into it and trust that they could possibly receive information on their own. When you think of the titles who have modulated the way humans broadcast themselves by rearranging their DNA and instituting, when you think of the entities who have modulated the way humans broadcast themselves by rearranging their DNA and instituting various scenarios and events upon the planet, and then funneling the results of the psychic energy through different portals out onto space for their own reasons, you can see what you are battling, I guess. There are those who want you and the whole planet to function in no other way but through logic, a very fearful logic. The best advice we can offer you at this time is to use that logic. Say, I will be in logic here for a moment and see what my logical mind is doing. It is wanting to take over. It has been told that this is how it is. I have also been told that this other stuff is true too. I will simply observe how I waver between one and the other. Am I angry? Am I insecure? What brings me upliftment? What brings me security? What does each mode of thinking do for me? What am I perceiving about myself? How am I feeling? Observe and acknowledge all of this. Then say, now that I've given everyone a chance to be on stage, what do I want? Reaffirm what you want. And you know you want to evolve. Do you see how cycling back through doubt is an actuality part of the divine plan? It's part of being human. It's part of the process. I think I mentioned like acknowledging it the other day and not pretending it doesn't exist because it does. You do have to look at it and face it. Acknowledge it. Try to understand it and move past it. As if you suppress it doesn't work. It is part of understanding what others who will be following in your footsteps will go through. You must learn to open your compassion center or heart center, which is probably one of the most difficult things to do. Learn to feel compassion for yourself and for everyone else as you all have the courage to let go and feel. It is very important to observe how you deal with events. Different events are brought to you so that you can observe them. Learn to observe your behavior and to spend much more time alone. Even if sometimes it is difficult for you to feel lonely, even if at times it is difficult for you and you feel lonely, in the long run, you will thank us for directing you to have a more meaningful encounter with yourself. You hold the richness and ripeness that can bring you into higher realization. There's an order that you operate within that part of yourself cannot see. Sometimes when part of yourself is operating without vision or seeing, events occur to get you back on track. Be aware that in this new chaos of consciousness and confusion and shifting of uncertainty, there is a divine order. Well, that's good to know. This could be compared to baking a cake. Each ingredient in the recipe is of itself an integral whole and has its own sense of structure. Page 144. I don't know why, but I like the number 144. I don't know. Oh, maybe it's because of the 144,000 that the Bible talks about. Is that why I like it? Okay. Each ingredient in the recipe is of itself an integral whole and has its own sense of structure. The eggs, the flour, the butter, the sugar. When you begin to put them all together, it looks as if they are making chaos. Someone would say, "You're wrecking everything. You wrecked that egg. Where did the sugar go? You're wrecking all the essential elements here." They don't understand perhaps the magic of catalytic formula of heat. They don't understand perhaps the magic of the catalytic formula of heat. This is a really good example, a good way of explaining it, also because I really like cake. Like cake is one of my favorite things. Like I really like cake. If I'm in a bad mood, cake always makes me feel better. Food does, but I really like cake, especially if it's pretty and decorated. I don't know. It's like magical to me. Anyways, there is a catalytic energy present at this time on the planet as all of the individual structures begin to melt and merge to create what looks like chaos. There will be something new born out of this, just like a cake is born out of the chaos of mixing together certain ingredients. Someone who does not understand that after you mix cake batter, you put it in the oven to bake it, could look at the goopy batter and think they made nothing. Many people on the planet will not recognize that there is a higher order behind the chaos. But there is a recipe being followed. Each of you has a specific assignment within. Each of you has a specific assignment within this recipe. Of course, you have free will to determine how you will follow the recipe and be an ingredient of it. This free will allows you to decide the specifics of how you would like your life to be designed, although you must live out your blueprint. Whether you choose to do this with difficulty or with ease, in poverty or in richness, is up to you. It all depends on where you have been convinced to put your boundaries. What can we say to convince you to take all of your boundaries down, to stop limiting what you believe can be yours? If there is anything we wish to achieve, it is to have each of you boundless and free. knowing that every thought you entertain somehow determines your experience. If we could get you to live 100% of the time according to what you want, we would feel that this has been a most successful year. We are going to ask each of you to make that commitment and to live a cleaner and more impeccable life. We ask you to accept responsibility in areas that you have not even thought of accepting responsibility. We want you each to act as if you know what is going on. Act as if you are divinely guided in every choice you make, and begin to believe that you are always at the right place at the right time. Say to yourself, I am in divine guidance. I am always at the right place at the right time. Everything I do is orchestrated for my higher growth, my higher consciousness, and my higher evolution. We want you to operate in that way all of the time now. Be living keepers of frequency. When light is brought into your body, it fires your light-encoded filaments and helps rebundle the DNA, creating a frequency change. Frequency is what you know. Frequency is your identity. And then it has this they have this, I don't know, I like it. Is it like the Palladian star arrangement? It's in another page too, at the top of the page. I like to see it. Yeah. I like to see it. I don't know. Is that how is it seven? 1, 2, 3. Yeah. It's seven like stars. There have been periods when many different dimensions have existed upon this planet at the same time. Okay, so we're talking different dimensions on the planet at the same time now. In the last 1,000 years, there has been a receding of the many different dimensions as great chaos and darkness have come over the population. These dimensions, or rather realities or places where the laws of existence are a bit different, are returning. You help them return by pulling the dimensions onto this planet and creating what is called a dimensional merge. Sometimes you move into these dimensions and do not recognize that you are in them. You enter an altered state, particularly when you go to a sacred site on earth. You move into a different dimensional frequency and everything changes. You feel uplifted and full of energy or sick to your stomach. Something goes on when you move into an altered state. My nose is itching. I'm so sorry, guys. Since you are in an altered state, you do not always know you are in it. That is the beginning of the dimensional merge. When you return home from a sacred site, you may look back and say, whoa, what happened there? That is the feeling of experiencing different dimensions. Dimensional collisions are another story. Those who are gripped with fear and refuse to change, even though their purpose is to be on the planet at this time of change, will experience dimensions as collisions. The dimensional merge for them will be like a solid wall. I don't know why my nose doing me this. It will be like a solid wall of cement hitting another solid wall of cement. Great discomfort will occur on this planet for many. Apology. This is already occurring on a very small scale as discomfort in the nervous system. People may develop disease of the nervous system simply because of their refusal to evolve and change their stand about themselves and their reality. All of you who are working with other humans, whether you are medical people, body workers, teachers, musicians, or whatever, understand that this is the human dilemma. The need to shift the definition of self and reality. I feel like I should underline that. Use your will and mind to decide how you would like reality to construct itself. By doing this, you will eventually discover that there's a higher will and a higher plan, and you will ride your consciousness to it and discover the divine path. This divine path has in mind the evolution of consciousness. You, as a human species, have believed for eons what others have told you about yourselves. As we have said, there has been a purpose to this. Others have wanted to control you. Strive as you would for attainment, it was difficult on the planet because the DNA was scattered and closed down. So no matter what you wanted, the vibrational connections were not available. Now that the vibrational connections are coming onto the planet, the divine plan, which you can think of as a grid or blueprint, is coming closer to Earth. And the dimensions are going to meet eventually. When they are going to meet up is up to you. The divine plan is not scheduled to come here on a specific day. It depends on how quickly humans can meet the needs and master themselves. What does it mean to master yourself? I said this the other day. I want to master myself. And by extension, my life. Said this to a friend. I want to be a master of myself. What does it mean to master yourself? In order to understand the divine plan and move into the blueprint, you must look at yourself. You must be able to master who you are. There are many things in your society for which you must master a test in order to say, yes, I qualify. I have mastered these rules and I utilize them and put them to my will. For example, you must master how to drive a car to get a license. How many of you can master your bodies and use them with your will? Very few. Why? Because no one told you it was possible. We are here to remind you of a number of things. Earth at this time is a very difficult place to be, simply because those who are coded to bring the changes into the planet are coded to teach themselves. You see, the problem on this planet over and over again has been the gods. One god after another. Who have the gods been? The gods created you. You are their project. You are dear to them. However, some of them you are not very dear to because they do not understand emotion and feelings. And some of them are enamored of different realities than you are. Consciousness is allowed its expression, and you have been allowed your expression within limitation by those who have been governing you. From your point of view, you have never let them govern you, and you have no idea that they exist. They bring dramas onto this planet in the guise of what you call religion, leadership, or sometimes inspiration. Events, even though they are orchestrated to achieve certain things, sometimes gather those who hang on, and many other probabilities come out other than what was intended. Oh, we want to communicate to you that there is a drastic change going on. We cannot emphasize this enough. Earth is in for a big shakeup. The shakeup involves humanity processing and conceiving of data that is totally out of the current paradigm. This means that your nervous system will be assaulted with data and must be able to unlock itself from how it believes it controls or perceives reality. The task for you members of the family of light who have decided to make this information inside of yourself. The task for you members of the family of light who have desired to take this information inside of yourselves is to anchor a new frequency on this planet by anchoring it impeccably inside of yourself. This is not to say it was not meant. This is not easy. It was not meant to be easy. You did not come here to have an easy assignment. Why? Why? Why can't it be easy? Why? Why? Why can't it be easy for all? You're renegades and you have been renegades. If we could give each of you a minute's worth of your multidimensional memories, you would know what we are talking about. You would know in the deepest portion of your being that time and time again, in different guises and different collections of form, you have gone where change needed to be anchored. You have gone many times, busted the paradigms, limited, liberated yourselves, and moved beyond where you thought your identity was. This is the divine plan, merging the self. The divine plan has many ramifications and brings together many kinds of forces. You have heard us talk about the forces of light and the forces of darkness. We have nicknamed them the white t-shirts and the dark t-shirts to make the situation neutral and have you know it is a game. We also want you to know that there is a grave seriousness to the game and that in and around and above the game is the divine plan. The divine plan can be anchored as a vibration into certain human bodies that are coded for this and that came here to carry this frequency. Then you can rise to your own blueprint of impeccability. When your own life rises to a position where you do not even recognize it as your life, you allow the energy of the non-physical realms to use you as a conduit to merge the dimensions and liberate consciousness into a new way of perceiving. Even though there is death and destruction coming to your world, remember that death and destruction come in the autumn every year on this planet. The flowers and leaves on the trees are killed by the frost. Things wither and die. Perhaps someone who lives where it is always summer would be very disturbed when they saw autumn for the first time. They would think, goodness, the world is being destroyed here. All the beauty is being taken away. Understand that this is what is going on with Earth. It is a season when some things will die so that many new things can be born. It is all part of the divine plan. End of chapter 13. The next episode will be chapter 14, Emotions, the secret of the chronicles of time. The secret in the chronicles of time. Woo-hoo! You know, each chapter has been quite interesting. I just find like, like you just not really, I mean, they kind of give you a title, but you really don't know how that's going to unfold or what they're going to say. So we learned in this chapter, what did we learn? We learn in order to come into our divine blueprint, to get our task, we have to be able to manage ourselves. We have to be able to ride the waves of life and not be like, our emotions not go up and down with it. Hold on to the thought, I guess, that everything will work out and everything is as the way it should be, even when it's not what you wanted. It's all part of it, releasing and unlocking. And then that brings everything you wanted, probably. Who knows? So that's a key for me because I was like, what is my plan? I've been asking, and they were saying just to be. Every day should be a vacation. And then I got like little glimpses of specific things I think I would enjoy. And the way I could communicate with the people, but also like, how would I do that? How would it play out? But just be like, yeah, well, if it's supposed to happen, it'll unlock and opportunities will arise to allow for it. And I'll meet who I need to meet to do what I need to do, to have the funding to do what I need or what I want to do and stuff. And it's not just one plan, it's different thoughts and ideas that I have. But I know for sure I'm not fully there yet with managing the roller coaster feelings. I'm much better than what I was, but I'm not 100% there. So that's kind of cool to know as I get better at it. Then that's why these little things are being revealed at different times and not all aspects of it. Yeah. It's all like really like integrated in little pieces, kind of. Anyway, also, yeah, that we're here to master ourselves. And in mastering ourselves, we ground the frequency here and we allow for other dimensions to live on the planet because we would live in those dimensions because we would will it, intention it. So they would have to be here for us to do so. It's cool. What do you think about it? A different way of thinking of life. Anyways, so I'm in process. Of course, I'm still waiting to see a lot of aspects play out. But I feel like I'm further along in my journey than I was even yesterday or the day before. Like every day is a little bit of progression. We also learn that doubt and fear exist and we are supposed to go through it so that we can help others go through it. Because once we understand how we move through it. If someone else is going through it and they ask for help or ask how you maneuvered it, you can suggest what worked for you. So that's cool too. Um, yeah, kind of enjoy this chapter 13. Okay, so that's it for today. Again, I want to say that I hope that you are loved, that you know you are loved, that you're gentle and kind with yourself, that you take the lessons that you teach yourself, right? Your feelings and emotions will indicate there are lessons to be learned and what the lessons are, just by sitting with it. Oh, okay, we also learned that in meditation is a form of communication. So more clarity comes in meditation. I think like for me, I think I've said it before, like for me, not sure about how I'm able to, is it 144? It's 144. So today 144 is a theme for me. I have to Google and see what 144 means. For me, I'm getting a 144 message. What does it mean? Synchronicities. I love that I communicated in this way. Like I'm pretty like sure of it. Um, so I like that. I really wish though, like I would start seeing stuff in my reality, in my physicality, in this density of stuff that I want to create as indications of I'm heading in the right way. Um, but who knows? So yeah, so meditation for me, I don't know, it's not like the easiest thing I found. That sitting in quiet and just like looking at the sunset, listening to nature kind of helps relax my mind. Maybe that's how it puts me into that state. I don't know. What is meditation for you and how do you get there? Hmm. I was having a conversation with somebody or someone else. I was saying a lot of my information comes in the time between sleep and wake, although I haven't gotten that much recently. But anyway, a lot of stuff comes between sleep and wake, right? I wonder, like, how would it must be a state that I'm in that I'm able to access this information and download it and understand it, right? Because the understanding comes really quickly with whatever I'm seeing or hearing. And I was like, how am I able to maintain that state while I'm up? Is that a possibility? And how do I do so I can get more information? I mean, I'm not meant to because I'm getting what I'm supposed to get in the amounts I'm supposed to get it. Everything is a divine plan. So I guess I'm supposed to progress at this rate. But maybe I want to know that because I'm supposed to increase the acceleration. So many thoughts. Anyways, hope you have a great day. And I'll talk to y'all next episode. Bye.